we're going to continue to talk a little bit more about multiplying fractions, and I wanted to discuss when would you use multiplying fractions, and the main times when you would use multiplying fractions would be to find a part of a piece. And what I mean by that is if you already have a piece of something, you don't have a whole, for example, you don't have a whole cup of juice, and then you were to only drink a part of that juice, it seems like it would be subtraction, and I would understand where you would get that idea. But you're finding a piece of a piece. So your keyword of is going to really kind of put it out there that it's multiplication. So to find a part of a piece is when you would use multiplying fractions. It's going to be hard to tell when to use it in a word problem, and I'm going to guide you through that. And I don't want that to scare you, but I do want you to be aware that there are going to be some keywords and some situations. Really, you're going to have to know the situation that you're dealing with first. Let's talk about Greg. In this picture, Greg has a half a cup of juice, and that's your purple. You see he's probably got grape juice or something. He has half a cup of juice, and he only, when he comes home from work or whatever, he drank half of that half cup of juice. Okay? So we need to find out what half of a half is. We can't take half of it away unless we know what a half is. So we need to know what is half of a half. The way that you solve a multiplying fractions question is that you multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. There are no common denominators in this. You need to completely wipe out the addition subtraction piece of fractions. It's totally separate. And so it makes it kind of simple. The only thing that you're going to run into that is going to give you trouble, if you know your multiplication facts, of course, is the simplifying portion. So you only go across 3 times 1, remember numerator by numerator, is 3. And that stays in the numerator position. Then 7 times 9, which we know if we can use our fingers, whatever we need to do, is 63. Well, I automatically see a 3 and multiples of 3 showing up, so I find 1/31. So make sure that you simplify, and that's what I'm trying to show you there. When do you multiply fractions? Like, what time in life might you do this? When you're splitting a recipe, you may have Christmas coming up, and you look into a magazine and you see a recipe that serves 20. Well, you only have 10 people coming. You don't want to have all of those leftovers, because we know leftovers are good, but after Thanksgiving we are full. So you might want to split it in half. So you would take, if you needed a 1/3 cup of sugar to serve 20, you know that if you're only serving 10, 10 is half of 20. So you're going to take your sugar and half it, so 1/3 times half. And then every other ingredient in your recipe, you're going to want to half it too. That keeps the recipe exactly how it would have tasted before. You would just need to half everything, not just some of the ingredients, but all of them. When you're finding a portion of something, if you have 3/4 acre of land and you need to find a 1/3 of that because you need to share it among 3 people, you would take 3/4 acres of land, multiply by 1/3, and you're going to find out what each person would get. Okay, you're finding a portion. Can you think of any other times that you would use multiplying fractions? Okay, let's imagine that we work for a hotel and we are designing a hotel, and we are going to paint our hotel, we're going to design the flooring for our hotel, and 3/8 of our hotel is going to be designed using purples. Okay, so here's my hotel, and 3 of the 8 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3 of them are purple. I already have that handled. But my hotel manager or owner guy, he wants half of the purple floors to be tiled, only half of them. Well, I need to know how much that is, so I need to solve this question. Again, we have a portion of a portion, or a piece of a part. Here's the math behind what the hotel owner would need to be able to do. he would need to be able to take 3/8 of his hotel, and he would need to be able to half it. So he's going to multiply his numerators, 3, and his denominators, 16. So he's going to know that 3 of the 16 whatever parts of the hotel need to be tiled. And when you look at this diagram here, here's my hotel. Remember that what really should be 3 of these, so let me erase one. 3 of these are purple, right? And half of that is tiled. And if you really, let me get a marker. If you look, I have 3, if you look past this mark here, I have 3 of my 8 pieces are purple. And I half that entire thing. But I'm really only interested in what is purple and tiled. How many of those are purple and tiled? 1, 2, 3. And how many total do I have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So, I mean, there's math behind it, and here's the procedure for doing it, but can you see it is a big part of it. And yeah, here you go, you can see it. You half that hotel. You only want half of the purple, though, and that's your 3/16. Fractions multiplied by whole numbers should not throw you as far as you think it should throw you. Here is 6 times 1/3. Let's think of this down here. You have 6 people in a party, and you want to give each of those 6 people a 1/3 cup of lemonade. Okay? So that will be 6 people times a 1/3 cup of lemonade. Well, in order to have a numerator and denominator to use, you're going to have to make this improper, and we know that that is seen as 6/1. So to make 6 wholes, you have to have 6/1, not 6/6. Some people are going to say, oh, it's 6/6. No, 6/6 is 1, but we need 6, so we have 6 ones. Okay? So all we did to make this work was made this into a fraction, and that is 6/1 times 1/3, back to our original. Follow the regular procedure. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. Well, right here, your little headlight should be going off saying this is improper. And improper means that it's top heavy. There's more pieces than there are pieces in the whole. So we have more than one. Well, the way to solve that is to take the pieces that you have and divide by how many it takes to make a whole. You have 6 pieces, divide that by 3. So if you have 6 things and you divide it into groups of 3 in each part, how many groups do you have? 1, 2. So your answer is 2 wholes. So if you have 6 people and they each need a 1/3 cup of lemonade, then you're going to have to serve 2 whole cups of lemonade in the total that you give to them. So you're going to need 2 cups to be able to split up. So when you get ready for your party, you better have 2 full cups, because if everybody's going to get a 1/3 and there are 6 people, then there are going to be needed 2 full cups. I want you to try a couple of these problems on your own. I want you to try 4 times 2/9. So for example, let's put a situation behind it. If you have 2/9 pizzas, okay, that's pretty realistic. 2/9 pizzas, you say that's a serving size for 4 people. And you have 4 people, how much pizza will you need? Okay, there's a situation. So you can think of 4 pizzas and break it into ninths. And how many, break it into ninths, each person gets 2. How many total do you need? Okay. And you also would like for you to solve 3/7 times 2/3. So let's put a situation behind this one. 3/7 of a garden is roses. Okay, roses. 3/7 of a garden is roses. And 2/3 of those roses are tall. What portion of your garden has tall roses? Not just roses, because that's 3/7. But what portion of the 3/7 Okay, so 2/3 of the roses are tall. What fraction are tall? So you're being more specific. What portion of the whole garden is tall? Try these questions, and then we're going to go over them as a group. Thanks, bye.